This particular interview we're about to do, this is a man who's in the U.S. military, who's had experiences, he says, relating to knowledge of ET, the ET presence here on Earth. We know he is who he says he was. This is a man who's in the U.S. military. We know he is who he says he was. This is a man who's in the U.S. military. We know he is who he says he was. Is who he says he was. We know he is who he says he was.
This next question comes from Stephen Cambion. He wants to know, how do you feel about your participation in this CIA deathbed confession interview? I'm unsure what that is, but many people keep referencing that in the comment section. Now that other researchers have proven, quote unquote, that man was not who he said he was and never worked for the military or CIA.
Oh, wow. I guess I should get up on top of that one. I'll just say this. Look, I met him. I met his son-in-law. I got to know his son-in-law pretty well. This man had been a witness back in the 90s for Linda Moulton Howe. Yeah, maybe he was just pulling a yarn. I mean, the way it happened, look, I can't know before I go in to interview someone every single way it's going to turn out. You can't make me like apologize for if I make a mistake. I've made mistakes. What am I supposed to do? Go cower into a cave? Like, it just happened. So this man, if that's true, I promise this because I actually didn't know. I wasn't on top of this. So I'll look into it. And if that's the case, I'll make my own statement. But the thing is, I never really knew what to make of it. I was asked in 2013, the very beginning of 2013, to interview this man. I was told he was an important witness. I'm like, well, okay. It was actually Linda's case, and I didn't want to take it. But the impression that I got, which turned out to be not true, was that Linda wasn't going to do it. Turns out Linda just didn't know that it was being done. I think she would have easily done it. So I went up there. He was in northern Minnesota, and I went with a few other people. I'll leave their names off. The late Ron Garner, he's no longer with us, he was the one who really pushed this case. And I was like, all right, well, I'll interview him. I did my best to get on top of it. I met with him. He was a very sweet man. I thought he was going to die in front of me, like during much of this interview. His health was terrible. But I will tell you this. I spoke to his son-in-law, who was a theology student at the time. These are these are good people. And the son said, yep, I've heard this man's story for years. He's never wavered. So all I did was I interviewed him. And I did my best, Sometimes the best isn't good enough. I didn't go through a detailed background check of him. No, I didn't. So if it's been proven to be a mistake, then, well, these are the breaks. This is a man who's in the U.S. military. We know he is who he says he was. We know he is who he says he was. I didn't go through a detailed background check of him. No, I didn't. We know he is who he says he was. I didn't go through a detailed background check of him. No, I didn't. We know he is who he says he was. And look, I can't know before I go in to interview someone every single way it's going to turn out. You can't make me like apologize for if I make a mistake. I've made mistakes. What am I supposed to do? Go cower into a cave? Like, it just happened. I didn't go through a detailed background check of him. No, I didn't. You can't make me like apologize for if I make a mistake. I promise this because I actually didn't know. I wasn't on top of this. So I'll look into it. And if that's the case, I'll make my own statement.
It's not my hoax, okay? I just grifted onto the hoax. And yeah, I said he is who he says he is, but they both told me he was, okay? So I didn't bother to vet that guy myself or share his records for proof, because who needs proof when you could just sit there and lie through your dough scam teeth and say that man did work for the military and the CIA when you can't prove it and didn't even try to prove it. It's a great business. Listen, dumb people I sell these fake alien stories to will believe anything. I shouldn't have to work for my UFO dollars. I should not have to prove anything. It's a big deal. I made the money already. Who cares if I got totally punked by Steve Cambion into admitting that I never fact-checked that guy or his background? It doesn't mean I'm not telling the truth about these fake Wilson documents that I'm making money from now. People can only prove I used one fake anonymous source, since I had to admit it live on air with Kurt from Theories of Everything. Just because one of my fake anonymous sources is fake, well, that doesn't mean they're all fake anonymous sources that I use are fake, okay? Maybe some of them are real. And hey, that doesn't mean I won't comment on the fake anonymous sources I'm using to sell these fake Wilson documents. Okay, so what if Stephen Cambion punked me and made me admit I never even background checked the fake anonymous source I was using? It doesn't mean my new anonymous sources aren't real. Maybe they're just real in my imagination, Steve Cambion. Okay, ever think of that? Just because this whole story is based on a hoaxed fake document, John Greenwald just proved that document is totally fake, that doesn't mean these notes are fake. Well, yes it does. But I still will not admit that I got caught selling yet another fake story because I got more UFO dollars I plan to make out of this fake story. Just because I made more money than any person on planet Earth talking about these fake Wilson documents, it doesn't mean I'm a bad person or I have no moral compass. I'd like to think I do. Well, yeah, it does mean I'm a little slimy. It does mean I'm a little slimy, okay? It does. But I needed the money. And hey, just because I told everyone that these fake stories that I've been involved in were true stories, and then someone proves that they're totally fake, I've already run with the money, okay? I'm not giving any of the money back. I'm not giving any of the Roswell Slides hoax money back. I'm not giving any of the fake CIA deathbed confession money I made back. I'm not giving any of the Travis Walton money I made back now. I'm not giving back any of the money I made when I lied and said I was getting leaked classified information from the classified version of the UAP report. And just so everyone knows, I'm not giving any of my UFO leak of the century money back. I don't care if people are proving this whole Wilson note story is fake. I don't care if the whole story is built on a foundation of a completely fake, made-up document. I'm not giving my money back. I don't care if Wilson has said these notes are a complete and total work of fiction. And I don't care if Admiral Wilson can prove that he was halfway across the country at the same time that these fake meetings with Eric Davis were supposed to be taking place, and he can prove that. I'm still going to go on the internet and slander him and accuse him of federal crimes so I can make the dollar bills, y'all. It's business, okay? I'm doing UFO business. Who cares if I'm slandering people? Who cares if I'm accusing decorated admirals of crimes? Who cares if I'm using completely, totally fake, made-up sources I never even check into to sell these stories and get my UFO dollars? Who cares, okay? I am not giving any of this money back. Now, how much money have I made? Look, we're just going to do one quick example. This came from Steve Cambion. According to Social Blade and other social and other YouTube tracking sites, many YouTube content creators can expect to make about $4,000 from 200,000 monetized views. But hey, let's not forget all the super chats I got during that clickbait adventure. It's called the UFO leak of the century. Great clickbait title. The UFO leak of the century. I got 200,000 monetized views, and that translates into somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000 dollar bills, y'all. And even though now it appears that the Wilson documents are completely and totally proven to be built on a foundation of lies in the form of a fake hoax document and some stuff Stephen Greer said. And oh, let's not forget a dead man. Rest in peace, Edgar Mitchell, American hero. I was willing to just say anything that Edgar Mitchell said this, he said that. He's a dead man. He can't refute me. So I made somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000. Now that's just from one video that I made on the Wilson documents. I've made a whole bunch of videos on the Wilson documents. I've put videos about the Wilson documents behind my paywall. I've taken super chat donations for the Wilson documents, talking about them, speculating endlessly, trying to prove they're real. I did a 6-hour stream once with Mr. X talking about how these documents must be real and trying to connect dots that don't exist, and I made some UFO dollars, okay? I've made money at conferences talking about these fake documents, built on a fake hoax document. Oh, it's great. And something Stephen Greer said, the biggest liar in UFOs. Great. I made so much money off these Wilson documents. It would be wrong to speculate. But if I did, I would say that Richard Doscan must have made at least $20,000 to $50,000 in conference speaking fees, monetized YouTube views, Patreon, behind his paywall, Richard Dolan members. He talks about all this fake. I talked about the Wilson documents everywhere. I got new lectures coming on the Wilson documents, but now people like Steve Cambion and John Greenwald are messing up my money. Why are they messing with my money? I'm gonna make it rain up in here. I am not giving back any of my UFO money.